Good afternoon. Welcome to Glorious IS Academy. Myself Sandeep Reddy. Today we are going to discuss as part of the polity making of the Indian Constitution. Making of the Indian Constitution. కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ యొక్క రాజ్యాంగం యొక్క రచన గురించి ఇవాళ తెలుసుకోవడం జరుగుతుంది. ఇందులో these are the following topics we are going to discuss. These are the following topics of the making of Indian Constitution. So what are those? First we will go background of the Indian Constituent Assembly, who proposed the establishment of the Constituent Assembly first in India, and followed by the Congress party also demanded the Constituent Assembly for making their own India's own constitution. Indians will only make the Indian Constitution, means with the Indian participation with the adult franchise. With the adult franchise, what do you mean by adult franchise? Means the voting rights given to all people irrespective of the creed, caste, religion, tax and business or any economical position. Whatever may the position, every citizen of the country would be given voting rights to participate in the election of the representative of the Constituent Assembly. The rights will given to those who above the 18 years of age. So with the adult franchise, Indians only, the people of India will elect the Constituent Assembly. That Constituent Assembly will make the Indian Constitution. So next we will going to discuss the composition. How many members were elected to the Constituent Assembly from the Congress party as well as the Muslim League, and how many members were elected from the princely state. And next one, working. So after composition, first Indians demanded the Constituent Assembly. Subsequently British considered the demand of the Constituent Assembly. British వారు కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ ఏర్పాటు చేసుకోవడానికి అనుమతి ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. ఇండియాస్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ యాక్ట్ 1947 ప్రకారము కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ ఏర్పాటు చేసుకోవడానికి బ్రిటిష్ వారు అనుమతి ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. అనుమతి ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత ఎలక్షన్స్ కండక్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. కొంతమంది కాంగ్రెస్ నుంచి వెళ్ళి, కొంతమంది ముస్లిం నుంచి వెళ్ళి, కొంతమంది ప్రిన్స్లీ స్టేట్స్ విల్ డైరెక్ట్లీ నామినేటెడ్ దేర్ ఓన్ రిప్రజెంటేటివ్ ఇన్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ. సో కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ వచ్చింది. మరి కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ వచ్చిన తర్వాత వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారు? దే విల్ మేక్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. సో ఫస్ట్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్. నెక్స్ట్, how many members were elected, then what are their work? Their work is to make the constitution. Then on which basis they will make the constitution? That is called objective resolution. The great Prime Minister of India, first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, introduced the objective resolution on the table of the Constituent Assembly in the December 1946. So according to the objective resolution, these members of the Constituent Assembly will make the constitution. So some of the principle, liberty, equality, fraternity and justice, these are some of the principles of the objective resolution. We will going to discuss the objective resolution elaborately. Then what are the functions, different duties of the Constituent? The Constituent Assembly will make only constitution? No, the Constituent Assembly will make the constitution as well as will make the laws also. So it will act as legislature as well as the Constituent Assembly at the same time. So Constituent Assembly ఒకేసారి డిఫరెంట్ ఫంక్షన్స్ని డిశ్చార్జ్ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. మొదటి కర్తవ్యం ఏమిటంటే భారత రాజ్యాంగాన్ని తయారు చేయడం. రెండవ కర్తాన్ని వివిధ చట్టాలను రూపొందించడం, డే టు డే అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ కోసం వివిధ చట్టాలను రూపొందించడం అనేది రెండవ ఫంక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ది Constituent Assembly. Then after that, different committees of the Constituent Assembly. So our constitution is very big. Almost all provisions borrowed from the different countries. Our Indian constitution provisions were borrowed from every constitution in the world. Almost all constitution in the world, they were studied detailedly, and they were taken, some of the provisions from the every constitution in the world, they have taken into the Indian constitution according to the Indian conditions, Indian political, economical and social conditions, and these provisions were taken, borrowed from the every constitution. So for studying those constitutions and how this constitution, for studying those constitution, the how this constitution make means the Constituent Assembly framed different committees. So every committee headed by one important leader, and some committees are headed by the Jawaharlal Nehru, some committees are headed by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. For example, draft committee of the Indian Constitution headed by the B.R. Ambedkar, it consisting of 5 other members. Total 6 members are there in the draft committee. And next one, enactment of the constitution. After the constitution తయారు చేశాము, డిఫరెంట్ కమిటీస్ని ఏర్పాటు చేశాము, వాళ్ళ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ తయారు చేశారు. సో వాటిని టేబుల్స్ మీద ప్రవేశపెట్టారు, మీన్స్ వాటిని చదవడం జరిగింది కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీలో చదవడం జరిగింది. 1 రీడింగ్, 2వ రీడింగ్, 3వ రీడింగ్, అలా ఆఫ్టర్ 3 readings of the constitution they have adopted the constitution, means enacted, they passed the bill of the constitution. So that's why this is called the process of enactment, nothing but the process of passing the bill. So after making the constitution, they passed the bill in the Constituent Assembly, then they enforce it, then they implemented the constitution on January 26, 1950. So formally they have taken November 26, 1946, they have implemented formally, but full-fledgedly the constitution came into the implementation on the Jan 26th, it is our Republic Day of 1950. So but formally, initially the November 26th immediately came into the implementation, but full-fledgedly on Jan 26, 1950. So next one we will discuss about the criticism. So Constituent Assembly is criticized by the many scholars. Some scholars are saying it is dominated by the lawyers, it is the heaven of lawyers. So most of the members are belongs to the profession of the lawyers. న్యాయవాదులు ఎక్కువగా నిండిపోయారు కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీలో. 90% న్యాయవాదులే ఉన్నారు. అప్పట్లో న్యాయవాద విద్య అనేది చాలా ఫేమస్. సో వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ లీడర్స్, దే యూజ్ టు దేర్ ప్రొఫెషన్ మెయిన్లీ దిస్, న్యాయవాద వృత్తిని వాళ్ళు అనుసరించేవారు. సో దీస్ న్యాయవాదులు ఎక్కువగా కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ ఉండడం వల్ల దే వర్ క్రిటిసైజ్డ్ బై ది, దట్ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ డామినేటెడ్ బై ది lawyers. Next one, that is a time consuming process. It took more than 2 years, almost 3 years it took to making the constitution. So these are the some of the criticism against the Constituent Assembly. Then expert committee, before making the constitution, before framing the Constituent Assembly, the Congress was appointed one expert committee to study the detailed discussion, to study the detailed and provide and to make some material for the constituent to making the constitution. Before framing of the Constituent Assembly, the Congress appointed one expert committee, and this expert committee consisted a lot of important leaders of the constitution. And what is the duty of this expert committee? Mainly to study the Indian conditions and prepare the material for the ఇండియన్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ కోసము కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ ఏర్పాటు చేయడానికి ముందే కాంగ్రెస్ వాళ్ళు ఒక ఎక్స్పర్ట్ కమిటీని నియమించడం జరిగింది. ముఖ్యమైనటువంటి నేతలు కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీకి చెందిన వారు ఇందులో రావడం జరిగింది, ఇందులో అపాయింట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. వాళ్ళు భారత పరిస్థితులు, ఆనాటి భారత పరిస్థితులను చాలా చక్కగా స్టడీ చేసి ఎటువంటి రాజ్యాంగం అయితే మనకు సరిపోతుంది అనే డాక్యుమెంట్స్ని ప్రిపేర్ చేయడం జరిగింది. నెక్స్ట్ వన్, బట్ ఒరిజినల్లీ ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ ఇన్ హిందీ టెక్స్ట్. హిందీ లాంగ్వేజ్లో రాజ్యాంగాన్ని పొందుపరచలేదు, కేవలం ఇంగ్లీష్ లాంగ్వేజ్లోనే, ఆంగ్లంలోనే పొందుపరచడం జరిగింది. కాబట్టి హిందీ లాంగ్వేజ్లో కూడా హిందీ లాంగ్వేజ్ కూడా పొందుపరచాలి అని వివిధ న్యాయవాదుల నుంచి వెళ్ళి నాయకుల నుంచి వెళ్ళి ఒక డిమాండ్ రావడం జరిగింది. దట్స్ వై లేటర్ వన్ అమెండ్మెంట్ యాక్ట్ వాజ్ పాస్డ్ బై ద పాస్డ్ బై ద ఇండియన్ పార్లమెంట్. సో ఇన్ ది టెక్స్ట్ ఆల్సో ఇంట్రడ్యూస్డ్ ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ స్టార్టెడ్ printing in the text as it is the same meaning of the English. So now one by one we are going to discuss about the making of the constitution. Briefly, if you go background, the first time the concept of the constituent assembly, concept of the constituent assembly was proposed by the great visionary leader, M.N. Roy. M.N. Roy is a revolutionist. Revolutionist means ఈయన విప్లవకారుడు, ఆనాటి కాలంలో ఒక గొప్ప విప్లవకారుడు. అండ్ ఫిలాసఫర్, ఈజ్ అ రివల్యూషనిస్ట్ అండ్ ఫిలాసఫర్ అండ్ ఆల్సో ద గ్రేట్ పొలిటీషియన్. And also is a founder of the Communist Party of India. Communist Party of India, CPI. Communist Party of India. Communist Party of India. So he was a founder of the Communist Party of India. He was the revolutionist, philosopher, great politician in those times, and he was a college topper. He was a gold medalist. He worked as in different positions in the government also. So M.N. Roy, the first time is a little bit introduction about the M.N. Roy. So M.N. Roy మన భారతదేశంలో కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ అనే ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ని మొట్టమొదటగా ఎవరు ప్రతిపాదించారు? M.N. Roy ప్రతిపాదించాడు. దాని తర్వాత immediately after 1 year 1935 Indian National Congress for the first time officially demanded, few leaders from the Indian National Congress, they were demanded Constituent Assembly in the various times, but as a party ఒక రాజకీయ పార్టీగా కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ మొట్టమొదటిసారిగా అధికారికంగా కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీని డిమాండ్ చేయడం జరిగింది 1935లో. దెన్ 3 years after 1938 Jawaharlal Nehru on behalf of the Indian National Congress the constituent, so Indian constitution is going to make by the constituent assembly and the representative of the constituent assembly will be elected by the adult franchise. These are the proposed by the Jawaharlal Nehru, and immediately after 1 year Congress working committee also officially demanded the constituent assembly. Then with all demands, so in those times in the 1940s the world war is going in the world. So British is started loosening its power over the colonies, and Britishers unable to withstand in front of the mighty power of the Hitler, and Hitler gradually annexed the one by one colony of the Britishers, and they came in the front of the India. So the forces belongs to the Hitler, they came very near to the India. So it was the necessitated for the Britishers to participate of the Indians. Indians must be participate in war, otherwise they will lose. So by the 1940s and 45s Britishers power started loosening up because of the World War II, right? And their economical power also they lost their economical power, and the economy of the British were ruined by the Second World War. So that's why some officers, the Viceroy and Secretary of the State, they were demanded Indians to participate in the World War. In return, they will appoint some members in the Governor General of Indian Council. So some members will appointed Governor General of Council. So in return, Indians must be participation in World War II. So this is the August offer. What do you mean by the August offer? Ling Lithgow proposed participation of the Indians in the World War II. In return, the British government will appoint majority members of the Indians in the Governor General Council. So మేమేం అడుగుతున్నారు, మీరేం ఇస్తున్నారు? So Indians are asking for the making of the Constituent Assembly, but you are offering the membership in the Governor General Council. What is this? So we are asking something, you are giving something. That's why it is rejected by the Congress party as well as the various other political leaders. So next moving forward in 1942, after 2 years, in 1942, Sir Stanford Cripps came to India with a draft proposal of framing the first time Britishers accepted the independent constitution. In 1942 for after the World War, but they demanded Sir Stanford Cripps demanded participation of the India. In return, Indians means Congress National Party must be participated in World War II for the help of the Britishers. So that's why the Gandhi as well as the Congress party and various other political leaders rejected this proposal put forward by the Sir Stanford Cripps. So participation of Indians in World War II. సో మేము ఇస్తాము, మీకు ఇండిపెండెంట్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ఇస్తాము, కాకపోతే మీరు ఈ World War IIలో మా తరపున మాకు సహాయంగా రావడం జరగాలి. సో ఈ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్కి గాంధీ ఒప్పుకోలేదు, కాంగ్రెస్ ఒప్పుకోలేదు. ఎందుకు? సో దే వర్ అగైన్స్ ది బ్రిటిష్ పాలసీస్. బ్రిటిష్ ఈజ్ ది అనెక్సేషన్ పాలసీ. సామ్రాజ్యవాదం, బ్రిటిషర్స్ది సామ్రాజ్యవాదం మీద మరొక సామ్రాజ్యవాది హిట్లర్ దాడి చేయడం జరిగింది. సో ఇద్దరు సామ్రాజ్యవాదులే, ఇద్దరికి మేము సపోర్ట్ చేయలేం. వీఆర్ ఫర్ ద డెమోక్రసీ, నాట్ ఫర్ ది కొలోనియల్షిప్. సో India want democracy concept, not the colonial concept. If we participate on behalf of the colonialism, so our purpose would be defeated. సో మాకు ప్రజాస్వామ్యం కావాలి, మాకు ప్రజాస్వామ్యం అంటే ఇష్టం, మాకు సామ్రాజ్యవాదం అంటే ఇష్టం లేదు. మేము సామ్రాజ్యవాదులకు మేము సపోర్ట్ చేయము, ఎటు కానీ మేము సపోర్ట్ చేయము. ఇది కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ యొక్క అభిప్రాయం ఆనాటి అభిప్రాయం అది. సో ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ఆఫ్టర్ 4 years finally the cabinet mission was sent to India. For the first time officially demanded the Constituent Assembly. For the first time officially, here it is wrong, officially accepted a Constituent Assembly. So finally the cabinet mission is consisting of number 1, Lawrence is a secretary of state, and next one Alexander, next one Sir Stanford Cripps. So these are the three members of the cabinet mission. సో బ్రిటిషర్స్, సో క్రిప్స్ మళ్ళీ వెళ్ళిపోయాడు. సార్ అప్పుడు ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్కి చెప్పాడు, ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ అట్లీకి చెప్పాడు, ఇండియన్స్ మన మాట వినట్లేదు, ఇండియన్స్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ లిజనింగ్ టు అవర్ వర్డ్స్, అండ్ ఆల్సో వీఆర్ నో లాంగర్ ఏ మోర్ పవర్ఫుల్ కంట్రీ లైక్ ఎర్లియర్. Britishers no longer a more powerful country like earlier, and our economy is also not good, our social conditions also not good, and Hitler is hitting like anything, on the Britishers military. So Indians are not ready to participate in World War. Now with these conditions, in this condition, we no longer have a ability to control the Indian colony. So that's why it is better to give them independence. So that's why finally in 1946, at the end of the World War, and the entire economy of the British has ruined like anything. So like that, cabinet commission, it consisting of 3 members, was sent to India, officially accepted the Constituent Assembly. So based on this Cripps mission, the elections were conducted, and Constituent Assembly was established in 1946. So నెంబర్ 1. నెక్స్ట్ వన్, సో బ్రిటిష్ వారు అనుమతించిన తర్వాత ఏం జరిగింది, కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీకి ఎలక్షన్స్ జరిగాయి. 1946లో ఎలక్షన్స్ జరిగాయి. సో వీ ఆల్రెడీ డిస్కస్డ్ నెహ్రూ ప్రపోజ్డ్ అడల్ట్ ఫ్రాంచైజ్. ఎవ్రీ ఇండియన్, దోస్ హూ అబోవ్ ద 18 years will vote. That's why it is largely called as largest democratic country in the world. India is the largest democratic in the world. Why? Because we are more population, and every citizen above the 18 years they given the adult franchise. Adult franchise nothing but franchise means participation, means they will participate in the democracy. They will give the vote to elect this representative of the governments. So ఒక్కసారి అనుమతి ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీకి ఎన్నికలు జరిగాయి. So the Constituent Assembly was created in November 46. Remember, prelims point of view, it is very, very important. Under the scheme formulated by the Cabinet Mission Plan. So they have come up with the plan. So according to that plan, the elections were conducted. So in November 1946, Constituent Assembly was formed. So British India, so whole India divided into 2. One is British India, another one is princely states. You might be knowing that if you see India as a whole, 50%. So this is the Bengal, you might be knowing, this is Agra, and this is the Madras, this is the Bombay. Like that, so many provinces are there. So around 11 provinces are there. I know I'm confused with the number, it might be wrong. So 11 or 12, but under the 11 provinces, 50% of India. So 50% of the India. So like that, 11 provinces consisting of 50% of India, 50% of India, it is directly controlled by the British India, that means crown rule. So in the next, princely states. సో చిన్న రాజ్యాలు ఉండేటి, లైక్ హైదరాబాద్ అనేది పెద్ద రాజ్యం, అన్నిటికంటే పెద్ద రాజ్యం ఏంటిది, హైదరాబాద్ రాజ్యం. టుడే వీఆర్ ఇన్ తెలంగాణ వాజ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది హైదరాబాద్ అండ్ రూల్డ్ బై ది నిజాం నవాబ్స్. సో దీస్ చిన్న రాజ్యాలు ఉండేటి. ఈ రాజ్యాలు బ్రిటిష్ వారికి అనుగుణంగా, వారి చట్టాలకు అనుగుణంగా నడుచుకోవడం జరిగేది. ఎవరైనా బ్రిటిష్ వారికి అనుగుణంగా నడుచుకోకపోతే వారిని బ్రిటిష్ రాజ్యంలో కలిపేసుకునేది. సో in order to protect their territories, these princely states started ruling according the rules and regulations framed by the British government. So remaining 50% belongs to princely states. So how many members what is the composition? Total 389, remember, and 296 from the British India and 93 from the princely states. So how these seats allocated, representative population, and ఎంతమంది ప్రజలు ఉంటారో ఆ ప్రజలకు అనుగుణంగా. టుడే ఆల్సో వీఆర్ ఫాలోయింగ్ ద సేమ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్. ఆ ప్రజలకు 100 మందికి ఒక సీటు, అలా 1000 మందికి ఒక సీటు, అలా 1,00,000 మందికి ఒక సీటు, 10 లక్షల మంది ఉంటే 10 సీట్లు, 20 లక్షల మంది ఉంటే 20 లక్షల సీట్లు. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు ద రెస్పెక్టివ్ పాపులేషన్ దే వర్ దీస్ కాంపోజిషన్ ఫ్రేమ్డ్. సో హౌ మెనీ మెంబర్స్? 389. So allocated 3 principal communities. So these seats were allocated according to the 3 principal communities, means 6 Muslims and general. సో ముస్లింలకు కొన్ని అలొకేట్ చేయడం జరిగింది, సిక్కులకు కొన్ని అలొకేట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. వీళ్ళిద్దరు కాకుండా మిగతా వారికి జనరల్ కిందికి వస్తారు వాళ్ళు. So remaining seats were allocated to general. So proportional representation, in subsequent classes we will discuss about the proportional representation. With the same representation, with the same mechanism, using same mechanism, we will elect vice president, president, and also MLC and some other. So parliament means parliament members means Rajya Sabha members also will elected with the same concept. And princely state, by the nomination of the nominated, the head of the princely state nominated their representative in the Constituent Assembly, and it is partly elected, partly nominated. Why partly elected? Why partly elected? So elections will be conducted and a nomination by the princely states. So that's why partly elected, partly nominated. So limited franchise on the basis of tax, property and education. So the voting rights not given to everybody. So based on tax, based on property and education. So next one. So elections, when elections conducted? July and August. July to August elections were conducted in 1946. And how many members total? 296. Apart from the princely states, 296, and 208 members were elected from the Congress, 73 from the Muslim League, 15 from the parties. So this is the, so 93 from the princely states. So they were boycotted. Why they were boycotted? See, they are very suspicious about the Constituent Assembly. Once Constituent Assembly was framed, the fear started in the princely states. Why? They might have acquired by the Indian government. They might have acquired by the Indian government. So they might have dominated. They have taken all powers of the princely state might be taken from the independent year. But the same happened. The same happened after the independence and while the Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly largely is a representative body. Why? Because and the members elected from all Muslim community, the members elected, Hindu communities, and some members from Hindu community participated, women were elected, and princely states also represented from the princely states also were they participated. So almost all sections were represented in the Constituent Assembly. That's why it is called majorly the representative body. So next one, working of the Constitution. Next one, working of the Constitution. మనం చూసాం, ఫస్ట్ కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ డిమాండ్ చేయడం జరిగింది. బ్రిటిష్ వారు ఆ డిమాండ్ ఒప్పుకున్నారు. కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీకి ఎలక్షన్స్ జరిగాయి. ఎలక్షన్స్ వర్ ఆల్సో కండక్టెడ్. దెన్ కాంపోజిషన్ ఎలక్షన్స్ అయిపోయినాయి. ఎలక్షన్స్ అయిపోయింది. కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అసెంబ్లీ ఆల్సో ఫ్రేమ్డ్. కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అసెంబ్లీ ఆల్సో ఫ్రేమ్ అయిపోయింది 1946. సో ఫ్రేమ్ అయిన తర్వాత వాళ్ళు ఏం చేయాలి? వాట్ ఈస్ దేర్ డ్యూటీ? టు ఫ్రేమ్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. సో వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఫస్ట్ మీటింగ్ కండక్టెడ్ ఇన్ December 9th, 1946. అండ్ టెంపరీగా ఎవరు ఎన్నుకోబడ్డారు? డాక్టర్ సచ్చిదానంద సింహ. సో ఆఫ్టర్ ఎలక్షన్ ఆఫ్ సింహ, recently if you might see, this practice is followed now also. This practice is also followed by Indian Constitution. So why? So recently Akbaruddin Owaisi was elected as a senior member. Since he was a senior member of the house, Akbaruddin Owaisi was elected as the speaker, pro-tem speaker. So then he conducted the oath and affirmation of the every member of the assembly in the Telangana assembly. Later some other person elected as speaker. So after election of the Sachidananda Sinha temporary, so Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president. So who are the two vice presidents are there? Who are there? V.T. Krishnamachari, H.C. Mukherjee. So after that, సో వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ స్టార్ట్ అయిపోయింది ఫస్ట్ మీటింగ్లో. సో ఫస్ట్ మీటింగ్లో ఏం జరిగిందంటే, నెహ్రూ లేచి నిలబడ్డాడు. నెహ్రూ స్టాండ్ అప్ అండ్ ఈ ప్రపోజ్ ది ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ రిజల్యూషన్. అసలు ఎట్లా తయారు చేయాలి మనం కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్? ఏ విధంగా, ఏ ప్రిన్సిపల్ని ఆధారంగా తయారు చేయాలి? సో దోస్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ వర్ మెన్షన్డ్ ఇన్ ద ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ రిజల్యూషన్ దట్ ఈస్ పుట్ ఫార్వర్డ్ బై ద గ్రేట్ Nehru ji in 1946 in the Constituent Assembly. So objective resolution moved by the first meeting was conducted in December 9th. 1946, and the object resolution moved by the Nehru on December 13. You must be remember these dates for the prelims point of view. And unanimous, these objective resolution unanimously, no single member was objected to this objective resolution. Why? That is the meaning of the objective. The meaning of the objective resolution satisfied every Indian. So there was no opposition to this objective resolution. It was adopted in January 22, 1947. So it also contains the preamble. Later the concept of the objective resolution was also mentioned in the preamble. Preamble came from objective resolution principles. So what are the features of the objective resolution? See, why objective resolution satisfied every Indian? There are mainly 8 principles are there. First, the Constituent Assembly solemnly proclaims India as a independent, sovereign and republic. Independent, స్వతంత్రము, సౌభ్రాతృత్వము, గణతంత్రము, ఈ 3 ఇండియా కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ ప్రపోజ్ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. ఈ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆధారంగా రాజ్యాంగం. సో హూ ఈజ్ నాట్ అగెన్స్ట్ దీస్ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్? ఎవ్రీబడి వాంట్ దిస్ ప్రిన్సిపల్, రైట్? సో యూనియన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా, సో భారతదేశం అనేది 3 భాగాలుగా మూడు పార్ట్స్ కలిపి భారతదేశం అనడం జరుగుతుంది. ఏంటి? ఫస్ట్ బ్రిటిష్ టెరిటరీస్. సో ఇండియా, ద యూనియన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా షెల్ కన్సిస్ట్, see here the word shall means compulsorily. ఎవరైనా అగెనెస్ట్ అయితే వాళ్ళని అనెక్స్ చేసుకోవడం, వాళ్ళని అక్వైర్ చేసుకోవడమే కంపల్సరీ. షెల్ మీన్స్ కంపల్సరీ. దెర్ ఈజ్ నో అవుట్రైట్ అథారిటీ above the Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly is an independent sovereign body, right? There is no opposition for the Constituent Assembly. So 3 important British territories, princely states as well as the acquired territories. So 3 main parts: British territories, princely states and acquired territories. So ఎప్పుడైతే ఇప్పటి వరకు ఉన్నటువంటి 11 ప్రావిన్సెస్ ఆఫ్ బ్రిటిషర్స్ యూనియన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాలో ఉంటుంది, అన్ని ప్రిన్స్లీ స్టేట్స్ యూనియన్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాలో ఉంటాయి. అండ్ భారతదేశం ఏదైనా కంట్రీని కానీ ఏదైనా ప్రదేశం కానీ ఆక్రమించుకున్నట్లయితే అది కూడా ఇండియన్ యూనియన్లో భాగం అవుతుంది. సో ఈ 3 కలిపి ఇండియన్ యూనియన్ అంటారు. సో నెక్స్ట్ వన్, ప్రావిన్సెస్ మీన్స్ స్టేట్స్. టుడే దే కాల్డ్ యాజ్ స్టేట్స్. దే వర్ గివెన్ ఫుల్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ అండ్ దే విల్ హ్యావ్ ద స్పెషల్ పవర్స్ ఆఫ్ గవర్నెన్స్ లైక్ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్. అండ్ అంత పవర్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది? ఈ కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ పవర్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది? పీపుల్స్ నుంచి వస్తుంది. పీపుల్స్ నుంచి ఎలా వస్తుంది? దే రిప్రజెంటెడ్, దే ఓట్ అండ్ దే ఎలెక్టెడ్ ది representative of this Constituent Assembly. That's why all power come from the people. So that's why another 3 principles, and justice, equality, freedom to the people. So న్యాయము, సమానత్వము, స్వాతంత్రము, ఈ 3 దేశ ప్రజలకు ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది అకార్డింగ్ టు ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ రెజల్యూషన్. అండ్ మైనారిటీస్, బ్యాక్వర్డ్స్, ఉమెన్, డిప్రెస్డ్ క్లాసెస్ విల్ బి సేఫ్ గార్డెడ్ అండ్ టెరిటరీ. సో భారతదేశం యొక్క దిస్ కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ అండ్ భారత రాజ్యాంగం యొక్క మెయిన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఏంటంటే మన ల్యాండ్, భూమి, మనకు సంబంధించినటువంటి సముద్రము, మనకు సంబంధించినటువంటి గగనతలము, మనకు సంబంధించినటువంటి అన్ని టెరిటరీస్ ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేయడం జరుగుతుంది. వీ విల్ అపోజ్ టు దీస్ థింగ్స్. సో దిస్ ఇండియాస్ రైట్ ప్లేస్. ఇండియా షుడ్ బి కన్సిడర్ as the right place, and also Indian Constitution will also promote the world peace and welfare of the people across the world, not only India. So these are the ideals of the Indian Constitution. Those were mentioned in the objective resolution. Next one, what is the functions of the Constituent Assembly? So మెయిన్గా రాజ్యాంగాన్ని తయారు చేయడం అనేది మనకు తెలుసు. కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ అనేది ఎందుకు పొందుపరచడం జరిగింది, ఎందుకు ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేయడం జరిగింది? రాజ్యాంగాన్ని రచించడానికి. కానీ రాజ్యాంగం ఒకటే రచించడం దాని పని కాదు, మిగతా డ్యూటీలు కూడా ఉన్నాయి. సో సమ్ అదర్ ఫంక్షన్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. లెట్ us the primary function is and these functions are mentioned in the India Independent Act 1947, and it made 3 changes to the Constituent Assembly. So first one, it made Constituent Assembly is a full sovereign body. Constitution, what is sovereignty, saubhratutvamu? సౌభ్రాతృత్వం అనగా ఒక దేశానికి, ఒక దేశము దాని ప్రభుత్వము తీసుకునే నిర్ణయాలకు ఏ వ్యతిరేకత ఎక్కడి నుంచి రాకూడదు. అది తీసుకున్న నిర్ణయమే అత్యుత్తమ నిర్ణయము. దాని మీద అధికారం చెలాయించే హక్కు ఎవరికీ ఉండదు. అది బయట కానీ లోపల కానీ అధికారం చెలాయించే హక్కు ఉండదు. ఏ ప్రభుత్వం అయితే, ఏ కంట్రీ అయితే ఏది నిర్ణయం తీసుకుంటో వేరే కంట్రీ అపోజ్ చేయడానికి లేదు. ఎందుకంటే అది సావరిన్, సౌభ్రాతృత్వ దేశం అనగా వేరే కంట్రీ కానీ నో అదర్ కంట్రీ ఇన్ ద వరల్డ్ will have any authority to dominate that sovereign country. That is it has a full right to take its own independent decisions. So that is called, so Constituent Assembly, even it can repeal this Independence Act, even it can reject the laws framed by the British Parliament against the India. So it can reject the bills, it can pass the bills, it can discuss the bills. So that is the first. Two main functions are there of the Constituent Assembly. First one, enacting the ordinances. Enacting the ordinances. So first one, it is a full sovereign body. Two separate functions. First function is making the constitution. First function is making the constitution, and second function is enacting the ordinances. You maybe it is called first or second, second or first, what it may be. First function is making the ordinances, enacting the ordinances. That means laws. When it is act, why? Because when making the ordinances, while making the ordinance, it act as legislature. It act as legislature. It act as legislature. Parliament. 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 పార్లమెంట్గా పనిచేయడం జరుగుతుంది. అండ్ ఇది లాస్ని, చట్టాలను రూపొందిస్తుంది. రెండో పని ఏంటిది? మెయిన్ పని మేకింగ్ ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. దిస్ ఈజ్ ద ఫస్ట్ ఫ్రీ ఇండిపెండెంట్ పార్లమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా. సో వై ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎనాక్టింగ్ ద ఆర్డినెన్సెస్. సో డ్యూయల్ ఫంక్షన్ ఈజ్ కంటిన్యూడ్. ఈ రెండు ఫంక్షన్లు నవంబర్ 26, 1946 వరకు కంటిన్యూ చేయడం. వై? బికాస్ దిస్ ఈజ్ ద లాస్ట్ డే ఆఫ్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ Assembly. On this day the constitution was adopted. So we have already discussed formally constitution was adopted on November 26, 1946, but full-fledgedly on January 26, 1950. So that day we will celebrate as Republic Day, the day the constitution came into implementation. What are the other functions apart from the law making and constitution making? Some other functions are there. What in 1949 what happened? 1949 Constituent Assembly, in 1949 Constituent Assembly ratified India's Commonwealth membership. What do you mean by Commonwealth? Wealth means sampada. Common means sahaja sampada, means not sahaja sampada. Commonwealth nothing but all colonies of British came to known as Commonwealth. Commonwealth nothing but it included all members of the all members belongs to colonies of British. So even though we got independence, we will be continued as membership of the Commonwealth. It doesn't very remember, it doesn't affect the sovereignty of India. సో మనము కామన్వెల్త్లో చేరాము, అందుకని మన సౌభ్రాతృత్వము కోల్పోవడానికి ఏం లేదు. ఇండియా స్టిల్ విల్ కంటిన్యూ as the independent nation just for cooperation with the former colonies of the British, for the cooperation, for the well-being of the people, for the eradication of the poverty, and to provide welfare, to provide goodness for the good governance for the people. Just India ratified the membership of the Commonwealth in 1949. 1950, these are the common facts you need to remember for the prelims point of view. 1947, national flag was adopted, and 1950, national anthem was adopted. In the same year, Rajendra Prasad became first president of Indian Parliament. Who was the first president of Indian Parliament? Sorry, India was the first president of India, Rajendra Prasad. Rajendra Prasad. And Rajendra Prasad was also a first speaker, means first president of Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly was headed by the Rajendra Prasad. Later he became first president of the India. So first president of the India. Final session on 2 days before the full-fledged adoption, that is January 24th, 1950, was the final session of this Constituent Assembly. After that, there will be no Constituent Assembly. So, but provisional parliament, what is meant by provisional parliament? This the first function of the that is lawmaking body. The lawmaking process will be continued till April 1952. So the first elections were conducted to the parliament, and the first in the 1952. So our first parliament of independent India came into existence in the year of 1952. In the year of 1952, we went for the elections. We elected first parliament. So first independent government of India, headed by the Jawaharlal Nehru. So we will discuss various committees of the Parliament, Constituent Assembly. So committees of the Constituent Assembly, major committees. There are two types: major committees, minor committees. Major committees, minor committees. So first one, some committees are three important committees were headed by the Jawaharlal Nehru. That is Union Powers Committee. What do you mean by Union Powers Committee? What are the powers should be given to the central government will be discussed by the committee. And Union Constitution, and what are the provisions should be included in the Indian Constitution for the central government, that will come under the Union Constitution Committee. And what are the powers should be given to the state governments according to this committee. And Rajendra Prasad will be headed two other important major committees. Number one, steering committee, how Constituent Assembly should work. And next one, rules of procedures of the committee. Rules of procedures of Constituent Assembly. Rules of what kind of rules should be framed for working of the Constitution for the Constituent Assembly. And Vallabhbhai Patel, one of the popular freedom fighter. So next one, Provincial Constitution Committee. Next one, Advisory Committee. This Advisory Committee headed by the Vallabhbhai Patel. It consists another 6 committees. Another 6 committees. Advisory Committee consists of another 6 committees. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar will be headed Drafting Committee. So Advisory Committee headed by the Vallabhbhai Patel. So what are the 5 subcommittees? Sorry, I said 6, but only 5 committees are there under Advisory Committee. First committee on fundamental rights. It is headed by the J.B. Kripalani. And second committee on the minorities, headed by the H.C. Mukherjee. Third committee, Northwest Frontier Tribal Areas and Assam, and Gopinath Bardoli. And next one, excluded and partially excluded areas. Subcommittee A.V. Thakkar. And next one, Northwest Frontier Tribal Areas Subcommittee. So these are the committees headed by various leaders, and 5 committees under the Advisory Committee, which is headed by the Patel. Next one, Drafting Committee. This is very important. Drafting Committee. Why? Because drafting of Indian Constitution. Musaida. Musaida. So whole 6 members are there. Whole 6 members are there. Who are there? Krishnamacharya Iyer, Gopala Swami, Madhav Rao, K.M. Munshi, Muhammad Sadullah, B.L. Mitter. B.L. Mitter was dead. Later replaced by the N. Madhava Rao. Next one, D.P. Kaitan, replaced by the T.T. Krishnamachari. D.P. Kaitan, replaced by the Krishnamachari. So there are 6 members. You have to remember the number of drafting committee. How many members are there? Minor committees not much important. Minor committees. First, finance and staff committee, credential committee, house committee, order of business committee, ad hoc committee on national flag, committee on functions of the Constituent Assembly, ad hoc committee on Supreme Court, committee on chief commissioners province and committee on linguistic province, special committee to examine draft constitution and press gallery committee, committee on examine the effects of the Indian Independence Act of 1947. India's Independence Act of 1947. Next one, Constitution. First session, in first topic we have discussed that there was a demand of the Constitution, and next one, the demand was discussed by the British Parliament and they were accepted because of the World War II. Next one, the elections were conducted for the Constituent Assembly and total 389 members were included according to the people representation, people proportion, and various seats were given to the various communities, Muslims, Hindus, and adult franchise was given on the basis of the tax and business and some other things. So like that, the elections were happened to the Constituent Assembly. 290 members were elected from the Congress. Next one, 96 from the princely state were elected, and next one, princely states were, some people were nominated to the Constituent Assembly. So like that, the Constitution was established, and after the establishment they started discussing the how the Constitution will make. So first session happened, on December 9th, 1946, and Nehru stood up and introduced the objective resolution, which passed by which accepted by every member of the Parliament. Then it was passed by the Parliament, objective resolution, and various committees were appointed, major committees and minor committees. Major committees, drafting committees was very important. Drafting committee was very important. So it was headed by the B.R. Ambedkar. So like that, Constitution was discussed, adopted. So Constitution, రాజ్యాంగం తయారైంది, డ్రాఫ్టింగ్ కమిటీ తయారైంది. డ్రాఫ్టింగ్ కమిటీ రాజ్యాంగం యొక్క ముసాయిదా తయారు చేసిన తర్వాత ఏమైందంటే, ఇట్ వాజ్ ప్లేస్డ్ బై ది డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఇన్ ద పార్లమెంట్. రాజ్యాంగం తయారైంది, ఆ రాజ్యాంగంకి ఎవరన్నా కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ పాస్ చేయాలంటే ఇట్ షుడ్ బి డిస్కస్డ్. సో దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ద డిస్కషన్ ఆఫ్ ది draft commission, the draft constitution, nothing but reading of the constitution. So placing the draft commission in the parliament and explaining the clause by clause. First reading happened in 1948. It is just for short reading, only headings were read by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on November 14th to November 9th of 1948, and no member were understood. ఎవరికి అర్థం కాలే అసలు ఏంటిది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అనేది. చెట్లా చక్క చదువుకుంటూ పోయాడు. అది షార్ట్ రీడింగ్. దెన్ డీటెయిల్డ్లీ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్డ్ బై ద బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఇన్ ద సెకండ్ రీడింగ్ 1948 to 1949, November 13th to October 17th. It's a long reading. Every clause in the constitution was read by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. It was opposed by the other members and explained by the and convinced by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, like every clause by clause. Detailed discussion was happened in Constituent Assembly, and finally on the third reading 1949, November 14th to November 26th, on the November 26th the Constitution was adopted. Adopted means enacted. So the bill was passed, the constitution bill was passed on the November 14, November 26 of 1949. And the drafting committee took the less than 6 months. It was given 8 months. 8 months actually. It was given 8 months work, but they finished within less than 6 months. That is exactly 141 days. 141 days. Next one, the motion of constitution was declared passed on November 26th. November 26th, 1949. Why this date? Later we will discuss. And this is date on which the people of India, the Constituent Assembly adopted, enacted and give themselves. ప్రజలు కాన్స్టిట్యూంట్ అసెంబ్లీ ద్వారా రాజ్యాంగాన్ని తయారు చేసుకున్నారు, అడాప్ట్ చేసుకున్నారు, వాళ్ళకు వాళ్ళు ప్రతిజ్ఞ చేస్తూ అడాప్ట్ చేసుకున్నారు, వాళ్ళకు వాళ్ళు ఇచ్చుకున్నారు. సో దే గేవ్ దెమ్సెల్ఫ్ the Indian Constitution. And how many members were there while Constitution was passed? This is very very important. Out of 299 total members, only 284 some members were absent. This number is very very important. The Constitution was adopted. It is a contained 3 main sections. Preamble, 395 articles. Originally the Constitution was contained 395 articles, 8 schedules, and preamble was enacted. Preamble అనేది పీఠిక, రాజ్యాంగ పీఠిక అనేది రాజ్యాంగం మొత్తం అడాప్ట్ చేసుకున్న తర్వాత, మొత్తం అంగీకరించబడిన తర్వాత ఫైనల్లీ ద పీఠిక అడాప్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. సో అది మనం పీఠిక అనేది ముందు రాలేదు, మొత్తం రాజ్యాంగం అయిపోయిన తర్వాత దాని సారాంశం అనేది ఒక పేజీలో, పీఠిక అంటే ఒక పేజీలో రావడం జరిగింది. సో when they enforcement nothing but implementation, enforcing when this constitution was implemented, enforcement nothing but implementation. So partly on November 26th, full January 26th. This is 1949, this is 1950. So January 26, 1950. Why this date is chosen? Why this date was chosen? Why this date was chosen? January 26th కే ఎందుకు చూజ్ చేసుకోవడం జరిగింది? ఆ డేట్ని ఎందుకు చూజ్ చేయడం? Because on that day Jawaharlal Nehru in the Indian National Congress as a president of Indian National Congress in 1930, and in the year of 1930 Jawaharlal Nehru proclaimed himself full independence, Azadi. He was declared as Azadi for the India, that the people themselves will make the constitution, will have the full independence from the British India. And he also waved national flag on the January 26, 1950, and he also waved Indian flag January 26. So in the memory of that day on which Nehru was declared full independence for India, so on that particular date, that date was chosen for the implementation of the Indian Constitution. మన గణతంత్ర దినోత్సవాన్ని ఎందుకు జరుపుకోవడం, అదే రోజు ఎందుకు మనం కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ని అమలు చేయడం జరిగింది అంటే, ఇఫ్ యూ గో బ్యాక్ 1930 ఇయర్లో జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూ మన ఇండియన్ పతాకం ఎగరవేయడం జరిగింది. ఆ రోజు ఇండియాకి పూర్తి స్వాతంత్రము కావాలి అని డిమాండ్ చేయడం జరిగింది. సో దట్స్ వై పూర్ణ స్వరాజ్. సో on Lahore session 1929, on Lahore session, this is remember Lahore session 1929, so the resolution was passed for the in favor of the full independence. So enduku idi, on this day the flag was waved. So the flag was waved by the Nehru. So that's why this date was taken. So and it also repealed the 1947 Act, Government of India Act, and also it abolition of the Privy Council jurisdiction was continued. Abolition of the Privy Council. What do you mean by Privy Council? It is the appeal court. Appeal any disputes arising out of the local courts will be go to Privy Council, means that is British King. So a council was there with the British King. Only those will take the decision on the appeals. So since India is a sovereign nation, become independent country, so this act was abolished. This abolished is continued to be abolished. That provision will continue to abolish. Why? Because we don't want to take any decision from above the authority of the Indian government. So that's why this the abolition will be continued. Next one, what do you mean by the criticism of the Constituent Assembly? Criticism of the Constitution. Rajangam యొక్క విమర్శ. It is not a representative body. Some scholars saying that it is not a representative body. Why? Because people not directly participated in the Constituent Assembly. So it is a ridiculous argument if you argue against this not a representative body. So that time India was consisting of 35 crore. 35 crore, it is not possible for the 35 crore people to directly participate and elect and discuss the Constituent Assembly, to make the Constituent Assembly. So that's why we adopted a proportional representation. We not adopted the proportional representation, only we adopted indirect elections with the proportional representation. So every state, every constituency will have their own representative with the direct elections, and those members will elect the members for the Constituent Assembly. So it is not possible for India full directly participate in the Constituent Assembly. So it is not a sovereign body. Why? Because it established by the India Independence Act 1947, which is passed by the British Parliament. So why it is not even though act was passed by the British Parliament, it given every right for the Indian Constituent Assembly as a sovereign socialist democratic republic. So Indian Constitution was given a full sovereignty. That's why when you say not a sovereign body, that is not a good argument if you argue against it. Why? Because so it is given a full independence, full sovereignty. Time consuming. So various constitutions are, so US Constitution and some other constitution, they took less time, but many other countries are there, they took lot more time than the India. So this is also partly correct and dominated by the lawyers here, dominated by the lawyers. Okay, fine. Why? Because in those time law was a good profession. So most of the leaders came from that profession. It is an accidental. Why? Because those time that education was popular in India. So that's why every lawyer, so that's why it is a heaven for the lawyers. So more lawyers came to the Constituent Assembly. So next one, expert committee, we have already discussed. Even before the Constitutional Assembly was framed, the July 8th, Indian National Congress appointed an expert committee to prepare the material for the Indian Constituent Assembly. Next one, the expert committee, July 8th, 1946. July 8th, 1946. What are the members? Jawaharlal Nehru, very important. Who was the chairman of the expert committee, which is appointed on July 8th, 1946? Who was? Jawaharlal Nehru. Asaf Ali, Munshi, Gopal Nath, Shah, George, Humayun Kabir, Santanam, and they were sit 2 times. One is on July 20 to 22, 2 days, and in the August 15 to 17. So 2 days there were 2 sittings. So next one, Hindi text. Originally Constitution was not provided the Hindi text of the Indian Constitution. Later in 58th, under the 58th 58th Amendment of the Constitution, 58th Amendment Act in 1987. So amendment inserted 394 plus in the part 22. Part 22, 394A was, this article was inserted under the with the 58th Constituent Assembly. So what it is saying, the president shall cause published, the whole constitution should be published should be translated in Hindi. So entire constitution under the 58th Amendment Act, under the 394A, entire constitution should be translated into the Hindi language, and every amendment should also be and the same meaning, it should have the same meaning as the original text in the English, and also shall be deemed to be for all purposes the authoritative text, which constitution, the constitution translated into the Hindi, and every amendment of the constitution also should be translated in Hindi. So that should be considered as the authoritative text for all purpose. So with this so with this we finished the making of the constitution topic. In the next session we are going to discuss salient features of the Indian Constitution.